In the tiny but popular world of sports cars, supercars, and hypercars, it's not very uncommon to see one of them get its roof chopped off. Now, while they do deliver on the promise of a more exhilarating driving experience, due to lack of chassis stiffness and increased weight and a host of other reasons I don't want to bore you with, they just can't match up to their coupe counterparts in terms of handling and track performance. And that's how things have been for decades, so the manufacturers, they don't even try to turn things around. Well, all of them except for one, Pagani. So can I beat the production car lap record at Spa-Francorchamps held by the Pagani Huayra Roadster BC in not the same car but its older, lesser performing and less powerful coupe version? That's what we shall find out in this episode of Breaking Records. My name is Neil, welcome back to Hot Laps. Now you know the drill, I'll be having a 5-lap session trying to beat our target lap time, simulating the weather conditions and track conditions and tires that were used on the day of the actual lap record being set, and using my own car setup. As always, I am recording this portion of the video after already having set my fastest lap time. I am going to show you that after I talk about the weather and track conditions and my car setup. But if you'd like to jump right onto the fastest lap, here's the timestamp, you go watch that. Back in September 4th, 2020, the Pagani Huayra Roadster BC set an official production car lap record at Spa-Francorchamps at 2 minutes 23.081 seconds in the hands of Pagani test driver Andrea Palmer. I hope I didn't butcher the pronunciation too much. Anyway, in the process of doing that, it dethroned the previous lap record holder, which was the McLaren Senna, which is a monumental achievement for Pagani if you ask me. I mean, if you're familiar with the McLaren Senna, the Pagani has what, like 13 more horsepower, 789 on the McLaren compared to 802 PS on the Pagani or 791 bhp. Well, it turns out that 789 in case of the Senna is also in bhp. McLaren's official website states a power figure of 800 PS, which means the power deficit of the Senna over the Roadster BC is just 2 horsepower. However, at 1050 Nm, the Roadster BC has about 250 Nm more torque than the Senna, but it's also about 50 kilos heavier, weighing in at 1250 kilograms dry. As for the Huayra BC Coupe, its power figure is 764 PS or just above 750 horsepower, 1000 Nm of torque and a dry weight of 1218 kilos. Although Assetto Corsa lists this car to have 740 bhp and 1100 Nm of torque. Weight is the same though at 1218 kilograms, but it doesn't say if it's dry weight or curb weight or even if it includes the driver. So as always, take the numbers with a pinch of salt. On with the video. Anyway, so knowing the actual date of the lap record attempt from Pagani's official YouTube video on the lap record itself on YouTube, I'll link it in the description down below. Anyway, so from that date, we finally, and for the first time in this series, have an actual idea of the precise weather conditions that we might be dealing with. In the video, they said that the lap record was attempted in the end of their working day, so must have been just before the evening. I mean, there was still daylight, but it looked like overcast, which is what we're going with. Now, I did a quick research on Google about the weather history of Spa-Francorchamps. I don't know how precise these websites are really, but it revealed that on the 4th of September 2020, during that time of the day, like 4 to 6 p.m. just before sunset, the temperature was hovering just above 18 degrees Celsius. I went with 18 because I wanted to make sure I don't get any benefit of doubt on my side. Make sense? That's the same reason I also went with the track conditions being slow, because look, it could have been optimum because it was no official motorsport event. I suppose it couldn't have been, but Pagani was doing their validation testing, so it couldn't have been so bad. I mean, it definitely wasn't green, which is the next bad setting after slow. So I'm going with slow here, 96%, for the same reason I went with 80 degrees Celsius. No wind speed whatsoever because I don't have any data on that, and penalties on, as always. On to the car setup now. Now this should be pretty quick because there's not really much you can do to this car anyway. I mean, this is an official car by Kunos and I suppose they went with limited adjustments here, similar to what you can actually do to a road car. Gears, you can't really change them, you can only see them. It's a road car after all. Tires, I'm going with the Hypercar Trofeo because I looked this up on the Pagani's website. It says the Pagani Huayra Roadster BC comes factory fit with the Pirelli P0 Trofeo Rs. The equivalent tire here is the Hypercar Trofeo. There's also the Hypercar Road. They've not really licensed the actual Pirelli tires or the name, official name here. So yeah, the Hypercar Trofeos. Fuel, I'm just going with 25 liters, barely enough to comfortably complete 4 laps. Electronics, I'm going with traction control 2. The default setting is 1, which is a bit too aggressive, I guess. I'm going with 2, which gives me it doesn't cut the power quite so aggressively, so I'm not really losing much time. But when I need the production control of electronics, I mean, this is a 7,500 horsepower rear wheel drive car with a twin turbocharged V12. It's pretty unruly without traction control. ABS 1, there's only one setting, we need that on. On to alignment now, and this is really the only way you can play around with the classical car setup in this case, and even then you get only option for toe and camber settings for each axle. I've played with them slightly, none of them are default settings, so if you'd like to copy them, just take a screenshot, I guess, for your own lap record attempt if you'd like to. Now, brake pressure 100%, and pit stop strategy, who are we kidding, it's just 5 laps. So that's car setup done and dusted, and well, out of the 5 laps that I just did, here's the fastest one. So the lap you're watching is lap number 2 of our 5 lap session, and as you can see, after lap number 1 the time already was a 2 minutes 22.402, which means even if the lap record was set on cold tires, which I doubt it was, there goes Mr. Palmer's beloved record by 1.4 seconds. But on a long track like Spa, tire temperature makes a huge difference, so lap number 2 was faster. Way faster. Now remember in the movie Ford vs Ferrari when Ken Miles, being played by Christian Bale, said to his son that when you're driving, the faster you go, the more the world slows down around you and you see everything. Well, to really understand what he actually meant, you need to drive this car once around any track and go back and watch the replay, because I am watching this replay right now alongside you, and well, the car didn't feel nearly as fast as it looks right now. I mean, you can tell from my face, it didn't feel that fast. I look like Mr. Bean here from that episode when he was riding that roller coaster. There's such an eerie disconnect between how fast this car goes and what it feels like. Or maybe it's the setup that makes it feel this secure. I mean, this video is coming after like 1.5 months since the last one, and for the majority of the time, I've been experimenting with this car setup. Although you can't really do much to this car in the first place, what you can do has a profound impact on how this car behaves. Particularly the camber settings, the toe and the traction control. For example, there are 4 settings for traction control and then there's off. And as you have seen, I am using setting number 2 for this lap. And have you seen those loosey-goosey drifty bits in the intro of this video? Yeah, all that was set using traction control 4. And right now I am mashing the throttle out of the corners and it barely even flinches in setting number 2. That's how big an impact it has on this car's behavior. The result, even after all those thousands of kilometers of practice, the lap you are seeing now coming to an end is my personal best. Such a satisfying thing to do on camera. Now I have set faster lap times on better track conditions, so there's not really a record that is the fastest. Just take my word for it. Well, that was nice, 2 minutes 20.176. Like I said, it's my personal best under these very conditions. But a sub 2 minutes 20 lap time under these conditions, 96% track health at 80 degrees Celsius temperature, is still technically possible. Now I need to tell you something. A couple of videos back in the 992 GT3 RS video, the one in Silverstone GP circuit, there I also did a personal best time, and such close frequent occurrences may lead people to believe that it's really the norm, but it's not. I have thousands of kilometers of experience before I even start recording these videos. I play around with the weather conditions, track setup, car setup, most importantly, try to get those right before I have, a content worthy setup. So During those sessions, I am really relaxed. I can focus on driving. I am just trying to set the fastest laps, and the fastest times are really much more likely to come out of those scenarios. Anyway, just wanted to get this off my chest. And in future, as and when I do set another personal best time in a future episode, I'll call that out like I already do. But if you don't see me doing that so frequently for quite a while, just please don't think I have gone all Daniel Ricciardo, okay? Anyway, that's it for today. Share your thoughts about this video down in the comment box below. Also, if you have any other lap record for any particular car or track that you have in mind that you think I should attempt in a future video, share those down in the comments as well, and I shall try to attempt them. While you're down there, hit like if you liked it, share if you loved it. On the top right corner of your screen is a playlist containing other episodes of the Breaking Record series. As of now, there are only 3, but hopefully if you're watching in the future, I have racked up some more episodes by that point for you to binge watch. On the bottom right, I am leaving it on YouTube to show you one of my contents that YouTube thinks you should watch. I'll see you there. Until then, drive hard, drive safe. Take care.